Hey my loves, welcome back to my channel. Happy Thursday. So this video idea came to me because my daughter brought a pretty bad grade at home, and I remember we were in the car and I went to pick her up from her dad, and her dad was in the process of talking to her, how he's disappointed in this note, and then he was talking to me about how we have to hire some private tutoring again because we've done that before. And as he was talking to me, I was just thinking about how I want to go to the supermarket and get something for my lamb chops. And he could see that I was not really in the thing, and he asked me, don't you care? And I thought, no, I don't really care. I told him, yeah, we'll talk about it later and stuff, but the truth is I don't care whether my daughter has good grade in school or not. And I think for me it's a little bit of a trauma response because my parents were extremely obsessed with school. Like, they're really obsessed over my sister and I having good grades. I remember my mom always telling me, your job is your first husband, which it's true, but the pressure was so high. And at the time, I've opened up about this before, I was going through sexual molestation in the home, so I didn't have like the mental fortitude to push through in school. I mean, I did okay in French and geography and philosophy and everything that was like quite kind of literal, and I did poorly in math and physics and stuff like that. I'm still terrible in math. It's just not something that I'm good at, which is weird because my daughter's really good in math and she's kind of not so good in German and literal stuff where I was pretty good at, right? So I think that's funny. Anyways, and that pressure was so high for me, and no matter like how good the grade was that I brought home, my parents were like, yeah, okay, but when I brought a bad grade home, they were like, super upset and sometimes even physically violent. And but they never like encourage like good grades or try to see why is it that I don't have the mental fortitude to do well in school, whether I'm dealing with some form of trauma, which I was, or something like that. So for me it's very important not to continue the cycle. I mean, obviously every parent wants for their children to do well in school, but for me doing well for my daughter means like understanding what she's learning. Doing well means like whether she gave it her absolute best. I remember we were on our way to the supermarket, after she got that soaping from her dad, and she was extremely quiet on the way, on the car ride from her dad's home to the supermarket. And I had planned on talking to her once we got home, but as we were in the supermarket parking lot trying to exit the car, she told me, "Mommy, I'm so sorry," and it broke my heart. My poor little girl. I told her, close the car door because the car door was already open as we were going to go and get something. And I asked her, did you try your absolute best? And she told me, yeah, Mommy, I really did. And I said that it's okay. This is what you could do, and if the grade wasn't great, then what we're gonna do about it? Because there are 8 types of intelligence. There's actually studies that prove this, and I personally happen to think that the school system is not made in a way where it's for most kids. It's actually my belief that maybe only 20 to 30% of children can thrive in the school system as it is. So if my daughter doesn't belong to that group, then I'm not gonna kill myself about it. Like, what you gonna do? I feel like many times parents project their own failure and the stuff that they wish they did, the person they wish they became, onto their kids. We know that there is this joke about Nigerian and Ghanaian parents, but really black parents in general. Even though I just want to say this is not only black parents, because my ex, he is a white man, so all parents do this. But because I'm a black woman and this channel is it caters majoritarily to black people, I'm going to center it around black parenting. They obsess over their children becoming lawyers, doctors, engineers, jobs that are like prestigious, I guess. But I feel like this is a projection of something that they themselves wish they were and didn't become. I know that both my parents were entrepreneur or are entrepreneurs still, and even though they did go to college and at some point they did work like corporate, they both went on to have their own business, but yet they were so adamant and successfully so. Both my parents did quite well, for Senegalese Verhältnis, I'm talking to you in German, but for Senegalese society they did quite well. They were both like upper middle class, so I don't understand why they were so obsessed about me and my sister doing good like in school when they themselves even though they were corporate before, they achieved financial freedom, like from being entrepreneurs. So I didn't understand why they were so obsessed with the idea of my sister and I getting like good grades and becoming engineers, lawyers, or doctors. And I feel like this is a projection like from their side, where they wish maybe they had gone to become lawyers and doctors and engineers, so now they wanted for my sister and I to do this because they felt they're doing it. And honestly, like, if you are so desperate to have a doctor in your family, then maybe you should go back to uni. You know, many people who are over 40 are going back. So maybe you should go back and study that instead of, you know, forcing that onto your kids, because this is 2022. And it's not, you know, I'm not trying to downplay education at all, but you know, many people are making it, you know, in entrepreneurship, like on YouTube. I mean, people are millionaires from selling hair bundles, doing nails, doing lashes. Like, this is not, you know, 1920, 1930. Like, a degree today is not, you know, the insurance of at least, you know, solid middle class that it was, I don't know, 100 years ago. So I don't understand why, you know, we have to put so much pressure like onto our kids to do well in a system where many of them are not built to thrive in. And that is okay. For me personally, like I said, obviously I would like for my daughter to have good grades, and for the most part, you know, 70% of the time she does have good grades. And you know, she just started a new school and it's a new environment, and you know, a lot of her friends didn't make it in that school. So you know, it's difficult for her, and I'm trying to have understanding for that. I don't want her to feel the way that I felt, like where I felt like a failure. You know, I remember this math test that we wrote, and I remember the teacher, you know, belittling me and making me feel stupid. Chai, my 8-year-old self been through a lot. Shout out to my 8-year-old self, you guys. She's a warrior, okay? And I remember this teacher, if your teacher don't do this, this is not good for children's self-esteem. This teacher was mad. So he was rounding around the class, and let's say, you know, the grading was from 0 to 20, you know, 0 being obviously, you know, a C minus, and you know, 20 being like a A plus. And he left like all the 10s and the 11, you know, the children that did okay, you know, not bad, not good, he left all of those on his table, and he just took like the children that did very, very well, extremely well, and the children that did extremely bad, you know, i.e. me. And then he was going around, walking around, giving people their grade and saying you did excellent, or giving people their grade and say you should be ashamed of yourself. Are you not embarrassed? You did terrible. You are stupid. If you're a teacher, again, please do not do this, you know. And I remember he came and gave me, and it was a terrible grade, like maybe it was 4 on 20, like really, really bad. And he gave it to me, and you know, he told me how I was a failure, I was good for nothing, how I was stupid, I was a mumu, okay? Shout out to my Nigerian people out there. And I remember, you know, with my shaky self-esteem, telling him, you know, I'm not stupid, you know, mumbling, I'm not stupid. But you know, obviously I didn't have the confidence that I have today to stand up for myself and tell him, you know, you cannot talk to me anyhow, like you cannot talk to me like that. Do you know what I mean? But you know, it was a very bad experience. And you know, to parents out there who wish their children did well and they are not doing as well as you wish, you know, they did, understand that they want to do well too. I think this is something that we need to understand as parents. Like, no one wants to feel stupid, no one wants to feel like the mumu, no one wants, you know, for the teacher to give everyone their paper and they have good grades and you are that one person with the bad grades. Like, no one wants that. Do you know what I mean? Everyone wants to come home full of joy and show, you know, their grades to their parents, and you know, have them be proud and even be proud of themselves. So if your child is not doing that, just know that, you know, perhaps they can't. It's not necessarily that they don't want to. Now we know that some children are lazy and stuff, and they have the mental capacity to do it, but they're just too focused on games and phones and playing. And if that is the particular case of your child, then obviously, you know, try to reduce screen time and, you know, talk to them and tell them, I know you can do it. But you know, most of the time as parents, we like to lie to ourselves, but we know when our children can do it and when they can't, when, you know, when it's just, when they don't have it in them, we just don't want to accept it. So it was really important for me to bring this video out there, you know, to tell parents, you know, please, dear African parents, leave us alone, okay? Leave the children alone. And if you're a parent going through this, you know, you're not alone. I'm going through this. And you know, try to see what your child is good at. You know, I know that my daughter is amazing at a lot of stuff, and try to push that, you know. And the stuff that she's not very good at, you know, have understanding for that. You know, try to talk to them so that they don't feel bad also about that. Let them know, you know, you're still proud of them. Let them know, you know, they did their best. Let them know, you know, it's okay, you know, not to do okay, you know, that not everyone everyone is bad at something, you know. Everyone could be better at something. Everyone could use working on something, and it's not the end of the world, you know, when your children bring their grades to be like, I don't know if it's the case in America, but I know that as a child you had to show your grades to your parents and they had to sign them, you know, in order for the teacher to know that your parents are knowing how, you know, you're doing in school. You know, try not to be belittling, you know, to call them stupid and stuff. You know, they're doing the best they can, you know what I mean, you guys. Like, let's, you know, try to end the cycle. Let's put generational curses and generational trauma behind us. I know that, you know, thank God, I think that even signing papers are not a thing anymore. I know that in Germany, you know, more time than not, I don't have to sign my daughter's grades, but you know, she does still show them to me and stuff. Anyways, you guys, at this point I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna love you and leave you here. If you enjoyed this video, if you have any, you know, experience pertaining to this, if you're also called a mumu by your parents, if they're also disappointed in you because you didn't become an engineer, please let me know, you know, your story in the comment section down below. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if you agree with the message or if you enjoyed it. And yeah, subscribe to my channel for more, you know, fun, interesting, even lifestyle content sometimes, and I will talk to you guys as I often do soon. Bye guys.